Hello, everyone. Welcome to Virtual AC Day 1. My name is Leanne. I am the events programmer here at Algonquin College. We are so pleased to have you join us for this special workshop on calligraphy. The workshop today is led by the talented Isa Valier. Isa is a graduate from Algonquin College's graphic design program. She works at Algonquin College as the AC Hub's creative and technical designer. And Isa also has her own graphic design and hand lettering business. Now, before we get started, I would like to go over a couple of housekeeping items. So the first one, we ask that you please stay on mute throughout the workshop, but we encourage you to leave your cameras on for some face-to-face time. And there will be an opportunity at the end of the workshop to ask questions. At that time, I ask you to please raise your hand and we'll call upon you to ask your question live. The raise hand function can be found in the participants tab along the bottom of the screen. Now, without further ado, I am pleased to introduce Isa.
Hi, everyone. Yes, so Leanne said, my name is Isa. I worked with the college for almost 2 years now, and I've been doing design, illustration, and calligraphy for almost 4 years now. And I'm still learning. I'm still trying to find ways to make my hand lettering more and more fun. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this class. Yeah, if you want, you guys can show my presentation. Bonnie, if you want to show the presentation now. Sorry. Oh, I can't see it.
So Bonnie's sharing her screen. She's got the presentation open.
Yeah,
and then just make sure you say next slide.
Sorry, one sec. One thing, sorry. Next slide, please. Okay, so for a while I've been doing a lot of like pencil work, but I've been trying to kind of go through that process of making it digital. You can do a lot with like all the programs like Illustrator. There's like good ones that help you kind of see like the colors and different ways that you can do you can make your letters pop up more. Next slide, please. So other things that I've tried were like food head lettering. I was able to try out like engraving and cutting pieces of my own head lettering. I was also able to figure out a lot of embossing, which is almost like sparkly kind of ink, and it's a really cool type of mix that you can do for like if you want to do like something for like a gift. You're able to do like embossing. I do a lot of it, especially through my shop. I do a lot of like cups or like pots for like plants, and I'm trying to get into it more to yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff for like my coworkers for like Christmas gifts and stuff. And it's a lot of fun. You get like the more you get used to it, the more things that you can do with the head lettering, the more things you can experience. Next slide, please. So one thing I always tell everyone is get inspired, you know, get out there, see what other people do, see what kind of style works well for you. A lot of things that inspired me were seeing people do it even in the street with like chalk and stuff. Those were something that really got me to love chalk hair lettering. I do a lot of them at work since we do have like a chalk board of our own. Um, and I love doing it because you can do a lot of stuff with chalk, and you can experience a lot of like different things with like color. And I think it's a good way to like get you to get inspired, see what others are doing, and then you will get used to the style that you um, feel more comfortable with. Next slide, please. Some of the tips that I will give is don't be afraid to get feedback. Like it's tailoring. It's sometimes people say like you feel like you're scared to try it, but I will say just try it. Like doesn't matter if if it's like if you think it looks funny or not. Like I would try to I would try to do it and then have someone see what you do. Just be proud of like the work you do. Next slide, please. Some of the supplies that I would recommend for like beginners will be starting with pencil because pencil, if you make a lot of mistakes, you're able to erase and like, um, and also it gives you a lot of, it helps you with your movement when you're trying to figure it out how you want to like hold the pencil or like how you want your like cursive to look or like the flourish around the head lettering to look. So I will always start with a pencil first. And then I will try to use markers. We can do any kind of Crayola markers. They can be thick, they can be thin. Some have like super tips. They're really nice and easy because they help you with rotation. So I would try the thinner ones more than the big ones. And then once you get more used to the movement and how your pen and like your markers work, I will go for the Tambo markers, which is a lot like the a lot like the Crayola markers, but this one is a lot more smoother. So they they tend to be a lot more like a brush. It's almost like it's almost like a paintbrush. So you just have to get used to the movement before you go and buy this one. And then you can even try like Sharpies. And I would try like the brush pencils too. You can do a lot of like watercolors. But like I said, you can even do it with food and like anything like that. You want to go crazy, like you can do that. Like I love trying to experiment a lot with a lot of stuff, especially because it gives me an opportunity to be creative. So handlettering, that's what it does. It gives you an opportunity to just be creative. Doesn't matter how well it looks, doesn't matter if you have the rulers connected or whatever. It gives you the opportunity to just be more creative in your own way. Next slide, please. So, like I said, practice, practice. That's the only way that you can get better. Like I said, I'm getting better and better as I practice, and I keep learning more things. So the more you practice, it's not gonna be like the first try you're gonna get it, and um, it won't be like that. But if you do it and do it and do it, um, it will just help more the more you practice. And yeah, next slide, please. So these are different ideas of things that I've done with like pencil. There's two different kind of calligraphies, which is the Foss calligraphy, and then you have just the main um, hand lettering. So the Foss calligraphy, it's more like you don't need, it's a lot more you, so you're more open, like you can do whatever you want with the Foss calligraphy. And then with the just hand lettering, it is a lot more of like rules you need to follow, and like making sure that all your letters are in the same consistent. But with Foss, you're able to do like anything with it. And then this ones are the different types of um, like supplies that you use. Like I said, you can use some this one, but once you get used to it more. But if you don't have those, and right now, like you don't want to go and buy those, you can use the Crayola markers um, to try and figure it out. Or you can use the Sharpies and like highlighters. Um, and then the Rondia book is a good one because those would have like really nice grid paper. And so that helps a lot with people that are like starting to learn. But they're very expensive, but you can always buy like any type of grid paper that you can find. But you can also, like I said, you can also use liner paper, or like you don't even need line paper. You can use like just plain paper. Next slide, please. And then these ones are the ones I was saying that are really good that you can try with the pencil too. You don't really need like markers or anything. I've tried them and they're uh, pretty um, they're pretty like okay to try and practice your lettering first. But like I said, I would try it with the tracing paper, so then you have to like print a lot of uh, a lot of those worksheets. Next slide, please. And then so for beginners, a lot like I said, like a lot of people start with like big, like thick, the thick tip. So I would say start with the really super tip um, Crayolas, because that helps you, like I said, with the movement and orientation of how you want your letters to like go. And then once you get used to it, that's how I would start using that one, which is more of like a nice brush pen, like if you guys can see it. Next slide, please. And any tips for like layout? I will always keep in mind, like I said, your spacing. I will always have 1.5 inch before you put like every like word, just to give it a little more like, just to give your letters more of a breathing room, so that it like you can do like any flourish with it. We can put like fancy stuff around it. So I will always keep that. I'll always keep that distance between every like sentence. And if you go to the next slide, Lonnie, I will always keep in mind my ascenders, my xi, my base, and my descenders. So my ascenders is always how like, it's more like, how to explain it? It's it's more where you want your letters to kind of be at that point. Like it's where your height will it's like every loop will go. So it like your B, that's where your ascenders will end. and then like your exhale and your base is how big you want your letters to be. So that's what I was saying when I was looking at like this letter, like the sun. I will always keep like where my base is, where how big I wanted those to be. Yeah, so sometimes people go like really crazy with letters. So like I said, it depends how so like I said here, like this is how big my baseline will be, my height, and this is how big my ascender will be. So this is where my x height will be. So this is how my x height will be. And this is will be my base, and this is where my ascender will be. I don't know if you can see it. And then on the bottom here is where my descender will be. That makes sense. But you always want to keep those in mind when you do like your wording. If you want to try like hello in your name or anything like that, I would keep that in mind. Same with quotes. When you try your first sentence, you always want to keep in mind how big your height will be, because then every single word has to be the same. It has to be cohesive. If you go on the next slide. And this is how I like started doing more of my work, because I was always keeping in mind how big I wanted them, how the rotation of my on my words I wanted them to kind of loop, and those are also things that you want to keep in mind always, like your strokes, your compounds. So it's always things that you want to keep the same. So your loops have to be the same. So loops are always like this ones. Like if you see here, sorry. Like these are your loops. So those are the things that you always want to keep the same, because then they make your whole work cohesive. Next slide, please. And then your basic calligraphy strokes are also a thing that you want to keep in mind, because like I said, like here, these are things that will make will make up your whole like letters. Like I would keep practicing those, because those are the ones that with the markers and stuff, it will help understand how you connect them. And when I started doing it, I started with my alphabet. I will like write my whole alphabet, and I think one of those papers has the alphabet actually, so that helped me out with like trying to understand how the strokes work. And I think the Tombow as well has a page where it helps you with like the basic strokes and stuff. So if you guys have any questions,
Thank you so much, Isa. That was great. We are going to open up the question period. So now's your chance if you have any questions for Isa about calligraphy or different types of hand lettering styles, what she recommends, anything like that. You're going to open the participants tab, which is located along the bottom of the screen. And you're going to see the raise hand function. So you just click on that to raise your virtual hand, and we'll call on you to ask your question live. If you're more comfortable, you can also type your question in the chat function. So we'll give you guys a couple minutes to see if any hands get raised or any questions get posted. While we're waiting, Isa, I'm going to ask a quick question. So when you were doing the Sharpie and writing the word love, did you not worry about your thin and thick strokes? You just wrote it in the same thickness,
so that
and then
one,
went back
you
through?
really don't. No, so for that one, you really don't need to like worry. Like Um, for that one, like most people use Sharpie because like it's a lot more. It gives you more of a really like thicker, thicker lines, and some people love it more because you have more like a variation of colors, and you can do a lot with it. Um, and you can even like I use Sharpies for let's say um like very more like nice smooth paper. I don't do it. I sometimes don't do it on this type of paper because it just goes through my paper and I don't really like the feel of it. But yeah, I wouldn't worry when the Sharpie one. I wouldn't worry about how you're keeping your hand and stuff. Like it technically false calligraphy, so sometimes like I wouldn't care how big my lines are. Like I wouldn't.
Okay,
It's a lot different with this marker and the Crayola marker because those ones do make the how your lines work because how the tip works. So yeah.
great, thank you. And we're still waiting to see if anyone raises a hand, but I do have a private question here. The attendee's asking if grid paper is better than bullet paper.
Um, no, you can use both actually. Bullet paper, it's I like bullet paper because it gives you a way of like knowing how big you want your letters to be. Grid, the thing with grid is the squares are too small, and it's like you don't really um, you don't really get that like nice like centering of how you want your words to be. And say with the bullets, like you're able to like work with the more with the grid. Like I tend to do this one because they're a lot more like cheaper, but you most definitely can use the bullet one too. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. And Bonnie has her hand raised to ask a question. So we're just gonna unmute you, Bonnie.
Hi, I was just wondering, should I stay away from mechanical pencils when trying to do calligraphy?
No, actually, mechanicals are pretty good too. Like you can do those as well. The only thing with mechanicals, like I said, like you wouldn't be able to do like really nice hand lettering. Like you would probably be more comfortable doing false calligraphy, just because that one, um, it's almost like the pencil. Like it's almost you just make the line and then um you make another line and then you do that process. And it's just because how deep it goes through your paper too. So sometimes it doesn't give you the like smoothness or it doesn't give you the nice flow. Um, like the markers do. Markers tend to give you that flow. But like I said, like you can try any material, but just be aware that like it won't give you the nice hand lettering that you want. It will give you just like normal hand lettering. Like yeah, that's what I would do.
Awesome, thanks.
But
And
like
I've
I
never
said, like
used.
you will get used to it. Like the more you try more materials, you get used to finding what you feel comfortable with.
Great, Isa, thank you so much. Is there any other questions from our attendees, or has anyone actually done calligraphy and wants to share either something that they're proud of or a technique that they use or anything like that? Don't be shy to put up your hand or to type to us in the chat. And if anyone did something along with us today and wants to show us what they did practicing, that would be awesome as well. We have a question in the chat. Megan is wondering if it's possible to send out the slides to attendees to reference after. And yes, Megan, we are going to be posting all of the virtual AC Day 1 events from today, the recordings and the resources up on the algonquincollege.com/orientation website. So give us a couple days after today and you'll find it up there to re-reference and practice along. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, like if you guys even want to, if you guys follow my Instagram and stuff, and you guys want to chat more about how other things you guys want to do, I'm more than happy to answer more questions.
Perfect. And Isa, if you want to type your name, like your Instagram account name in the chat and send it, people will be able to copy it and give you a follow. We do have a question in the chat from Kay. She has different tips for calligraphy pens, but she's not certain how to use them. Do you use calligraphy pens in your work?
No, I stopped using them just because once I got used to calligraphy, I was more used to like markers and like it gives you more of like a bouncy look, and I was more into things like that. I was more into um, just making my words like a little more bouncy, if it makes sense. Um, Calligraphy pens tend to just give you one type of like letters. It doesn't quite give you that like hand lettering look. So I personally stay away from them because I just, like I said, I prefer more in that direction of like just really bouncy letters, and it gives you more of a opportunity to work more with your hand, except for calligraphy pens, they tend to just you have one orientation about it. But like if I tend to do markers and stuff, it gives you, like I said, that flow, and it gives you the opportunity to work more with like the space you have on your like on your paper. It
Although
gives
you
me
don't
more freedom.
Although you don't use them, Isa, are you able to touch on just like by the look of them? Like, do you know what the thicker ones are
Sure,
meant to, or
yeah.
like the thinner ones are
If
meant to do?
if they want to show me which one they have, more than happy.
So if any attendees are comfortable and have the calligraphy pens with them, if you want to raise your hand, we can call on you to turn on your camera and your mic, and you can hold up the pens, and Isa can kind of give you a more in-depth of what each one is for. Until we see that, we do have another question. Again, with calligraphy pens, just wondering if they give a more sophisticated look. So if someone was doing something like wedding invitations and they were
Yeah,
trying to stay away from the bouncy look, would that be something they'd want to go for?
sure. For anything like that, I wouldn't use markers, just because it doesn't give you that look. But I actually did some bridesmaids invitations, um, and I actually tried the embossy. So it's kind of like glitter. And what I did is I used my pencil, and I just, like what I would normally do, I did my hand lettering and everything. And then with a brush, they tend to like sell clear embossy ink, if you can see it. So that helps you put in the glitter, and that you need to, there's a machine that you use, and I can show you what it looks like. So this machine, it's almost like a blow dryer. So you just blow on the glitter, and it will make that nice embossing. So you can do something like that for like wedding invitations. But yeah, I would say, like, also if you do want to do wedding invitation, you can do the calligraphy pens. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of those, but for sure you can do calligraphy pens if you really comfortable with that. Like even I do like Sharpies, but they're not like Sharpies, but they're here, I'll show. I'll have some. May not have some. But they're really thin, like very thin markers that you can use for sure. I used to have a lot of them, but I guess I don't. But you can use that embossing for sure to do that. Yeah.
Awesome, Isa. Thank you so much. And we do have someone with their hand up. So I'm going to call on you, Kay. I'm going to unmute you so you'll be able to talk to us through your microphone.
Okay. So I have the calligraphy pen tips. I don't know if you want to take a look at them and let me know just kind of like what the differences might be.
Yeah.
So then, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah. See, I don't know if Brandy, you asked about what is invitations. You can use those to make the nice coloring that you want for those. Those are more sophisticated, and they give you more of like that really nice. It doesn't like it doesn't quite look messy. So
do you know the
I will
name of
use
it
those.
by chance, Isa?
Not by memory, but if you just like write calligraphy pens, it will give you a bunch of those in there. A lot of, I think, Michael's, you can buy those at a lot of Michael's.
And then I have two of the, like a similar type. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So those are more for like really sophisticated like calligraphy. I not really. I wasn't really into those just because I was more into like really nice bouncy like letters. But you're more than welcome to like try those. Like they just give you a different feel, and they're more it's a lot nicer because they give you nice thin thick lines. But like I said, they're more like sophisticated pens, and I will go more if you want to go like crazy and try to like figure out your own style. I would definitely like try markers and stuff to do more of that.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And does anyone have any last minute questions? Just being mindful that we only have 5 minutes left in today's event, but we definitely want to answer all those important questions we have so that you feel ready to start your calligraphy journey. You can either raise your hand in the participants tab, or you can type to us in the chat. I have one just while we're waiting. Being mindful that a lot of the stores are closed, is there anywhere you'd recommend perhaps locals to order some materials online to get started with calligraphy? Maybe the grid paper, pencils, that sort of thing, Isa?
I would for sure try the Crayola markers. Like once you try getting used to your hand lettering, a lot of like shoppers, they sell them, like Rexel too. A lot of like pharmacies sell them, and I would try those. Like I said, this is very cheap grid paper, so you can just buy them like shoppers as well, like Rexel. I think Giant Tiger as well. I think that's open still. But yeah, like any small like places where you would usually buy like your kids like stuff, if anyone has kids, I will go into those stores.
Thank you, Isa. And we do have one more question in the chat. There's an attendee asking if you are still going to use the same techniques that you use for your calligraphy with the special calligraphy pens, or would you do anything different?
Like I said, calligraphy pens, they just don't give you that bouncy the bouncy look. They're more like I said, really sophisticated, like a very sophisticated look that I don't usually go for. But a lot lot of people have tried. You're more than able to like do calligraphy with it. It just won't be that hand lettering that you want. It'll be more of like just nice, sophisticated cursive writing, pretty much.
Great, thank you so much. With it almost being 6 o'clock, that's going to bring our session to a close. But before everyone leaves, we just wanted to send a big thank you for joining us, and thank you to Isa for leading us through a fantastic tutorial. We do have a couple more activities and webinars taking place this evening, so I'm going to post the link to the Algonquin College orientation website in the chat. So enjoy the rest of the events today if you're taking part. Thank you again, and I hope everyone had a great virtual AC Day 1.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.